Todas las playeras de los uniformes.
Teofimo Lopez training with Canelo Alvarez ahead of the Shakur Stevenson fight is one of those moves that instantly changes the tone of the build-up, and a big reason why is Eddy Reynoso's presence throughout the process.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cambio, vamos. Para el siguiente round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1.
This isn't about headlines or gym selfies. This is about sharpening tools in a room where Reynoso's championship standards are non-negotiable.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Todas las playeras de los uniformes.
Teo made it clear this wasn't a split or a shakeup either. As he put it, my father and Eddy Reynoso have been in communication, and I think this is the best option. I'm not stepping away from my father. He was actually the one who insisted I join Canelo's camp. My father was there. It was great. Let's see what comes of it. That detail matters.
Ándele. Un tiempo arriba, un tiempo abajo. Eso.
Break. Break. Break.
Eso, ya le está doliendo ahí, ahora la metes en medio, güey. Ándele, muy bien. Ahora no le tiras nada, no te sale. Camina. Lo llaveas, ya.
This isn't Teofimo running from his roots. It's him expanding them under Reynoso's watchful eye. Working alongside Canelo and Eddy Reynoso's camp means learning how to apply pressure without rushing, how to stay calm inside chaos, and how to turn patience into damage. It's elite mindset training as much as physical work, shaped by Reynoso's philosophy of control and efficiency.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, you know, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide.
You can already feel the intention behind it. Teofimo isn't just preparing to beat Shakur, he's preparing to stay composed when the fight gets uncomfortable, and when a fighter known for explosiveness starts adding layers of calm, timing, and ring IQ influenced by Eddy Reynoso. That's when things get very interesting.
You ever sparred, Shakur?
Yeah, absolutely. We sparred, but we only did like 3 rounds, and it was pretty much simple. It wasn't too crazy. Yeah. But
do you take anything from that? I know it's only 3 rounds, but do you take anything out of that 3 rounds that you shared with Shakur?
it's interesting. Him, I did 3 rounds. Gervonta Davis, I did 3 rounds. Only those 2 guys I ever did like rounds that were so minimal. And but you leave that aura to that fighter so that they always plays in their mind eventually, you know. So
Why did you do only 3 rounds with both of them?
I think that was all they wanted. They were swapping around. So we didn't do too many rounds. Yeah, I think that he was just there preparing for his fight that week. So it was just light work.
And right after hearing about Teofimo soaking up knowledge in Canelo's camp, this is where the conversation naturally levels up, because now you zoom out and realize how big this moment really is. I'm listening to Max break this down, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is one of those rare times boxing actually gets out of its own way. No marinating for 5 years, no waiting until somebody slips, just two elite guys meeting while both still believe they're the future.
Listen, if Stevenson wants to be on his stick and move game, very difficult style matchup for Teofimo, and maybe not that entertaining to the fans.
Because Stevenson's longer.
Exactly.
Stevenson's defense probably the best in the game, and he's longer.
Great reflexes and timing, and so does Teo. That's why he's a great counterpuncher. But Teo's, he's a very special athlete.
Teofimo is a two-time two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him, right? He outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him, he outfought him, he had speed, power, so that.
I love how this gets framed as a high-speed chess match, because that's exactly what it feels like. Not a sprint, not a staring contest, but a fight where every move has consequences. Teofimo is the guy who saves his best self for the biggest nights. And we've seen that movie before when everyone doubted him, and suddenly he's throwing 100 punches in the final round just to make a point. Shakur, on the other hand, is that calm presence who makes you feel like you're losing without realizing how. And that's what makes this dangerous, because one guy thrives in chaos, the other thrives in control, and neither one plans on blinking.
And the thing I like about Teo's style, I mean, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, you know? The easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right. Yes.
But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys. Sorry. Shakur has more to lose. Yes. He's the undefeated fighter. He's seen as the eventual pound-for-pound champ, potentially. But Teo has more to win. He has more to gain. So on the one hand, is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to Kambosos, and he came back from that.
I'm nodding when Max talks about underdog energy, because Teofimo with nothing to lose is a different animal. Loose, creative, explosive. But I'm also not ignoring the reality that Shakur's defense isn't just pretty, it's disciplined, and discipline usually ages well under pressure. This doesn't feel like hype talk, it feels like a collision of philosophies. One guy betting on moments, the other betting on margins. And when you hear this kind of breakdown, it doesn't make you more confident in a pick, it makes you more excited to watch the rounds breathe, because this is the kind of fight where the story changes 3 or 4 times before it's over.
I do see Shakur standing his ground and fighting in the pocket more than people expect.
Do you see him being successful doing that, Doug?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like this fight is a winner's bracket fight from an era, but we're getting it now. You know, when you look at like Tank and Haney and Ryan and this and that, you know, and Shakur and Teofimo and Lomachenko, even though he was older, but there were a whole bunch of really talented guys in and around the weight neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I feel like these two could have easily been the two when the dust settled left standing, but the dust hasn't settled yet, they're just getting it on.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's what excites me about the fight.
And this is where the whole buildup quietly clicks into place, because after all the analysts, camps, and predictions, you finally hear Shakur himself and realize this fight didn't need weeks of negotiations or promoter drama. It literally happened because 2 confident fighters picked up the phone and said, let's do it. I'm listening to this and thinking, that's real fighter energy right there. No ducking, no weight games, no bring him down to me talk. Just Shakur saying, if you want him, you meet him where he's strongest. That move alone tells you he's not here to play it safe. What I love is how calm he sounds while basically calling Teofimo unpredictable, unfiltered, and dangerous, but still giving him full respect as a fighter. That's not fear.
Yeah, I'm gonna make him pay for a lot of them things that he said about black people, but at the end of the day, I know he's not racist. I know him deep down inside. He truly is a cool person. he wants to be great, and this is the type of fight that I really enjoy.
You guys had the press conference last week and the face-to-face and all that stuff. What did you make of his vibe there? The face-off was interesting, and some of the things that he was saying at the press conference was interesting. What did you make of his vibe overall?
I think something mentally wrong with him. I don't think he's like all the way there mentally. I think he's crazy.
Legit?
That's my opinion. Yeah, I think he's legit crazy. I think something really wrong with him, but that's what make him dangerous. I think them the guys is the most dangerous people, them delusional, crazy people who want to be the best and want their spot at greatness. So I gotta respect it, but I think something is definitely off with him.
That's awareness. Shakur isn't trash talking for laughs. He's studying the chaos and preparing for it. And the New York angle adds spice without forcing it, because while Teofimo claims the city, Shakur knows exactly whose faces he's going to see when that crowd lights up. This doesn't feel like fake rivalry. It feels like two elite guys who genuinely believe the other one is standing in the way of something historic. Shakur talking about legacy, about 4 divisions, about chessboards instead of callouts. That's veteran thinking in a young body. And when he says he doesn't care about who walks out second, you believe him, because he's already decided the ring is where the argument ends. One guy thrives on unpredictability, the other thrives on control. And when those worlds collide at Madison Square Garden, you're not getting a gimmick, you're getting a statement fight. This is confidence without noise, tension without acting, and that's usually when the real drama shows up on fight night.
Didn't Floyd tell you that you should be the A side?
Yeah, he did. He told me that he think that I should be the A, because I'm the bigger name.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
So when you hear Senior and Junior say things like, that you haven't fought anyone on his level, what is your response to that?
It's cool. I mean, that's their opinion. Like, they could say that. But I know he never fought nobody on my level. Like, I'm 1,000,000% sure that Teo has never seen nobody as good as me in his life.
He's talking about, like, once he gets through you, then he wants Crawford, names like that. How do you think he would do against someone like Terrence at this point?
I think he gets knocked out.
And right after hearing Shakur speak with that calm, locked-in confidence, the conversation naturally slides into promoter reality, because now Eddie Hearn jumps in and starts poking at the exact pressure points everyone's been quietly thinking about. I'm listening to Eddie and nodding, because this isn't hype talk, this is risk assessment. He's basically saying, look, Shakur's boxing IQ is elite, the kind that makes fights look frustrating if you're on the wrong side of it. Not flashy, not reckless, just smart enough to make you feel like you're always a step late. And when Eddie compares that level of thinking to the very top minds in boxing, that's respect, whether fans like the style or not. But what makes this interesting is that he doesn't dismiss Teofimo either. There's no rewrite of history here. Beating Loma still matters. Being dangerous still matters.
But do you think it depends on what Teofimo shows up?
Yeah, it always depends on what Teofimo shows up. I think Shakur beats him.
Yeah.
But the weight, again, right? Don't forget, Teofimo's a big 140.
Yeah.
Shakur is probably a small 135. Right? Or not really a big 135.
Yeah.
Teofimo's talking about going to 147. So you have a big size disadvantage going into that fight.
The hesitation you hear from Eddie isn't doubt, it's uncertainty, because Teofimo is one of those fighters who doesn't show up the same way twice, and that's the problem. You don't know if you're getting brilliance or frustration, and when a guy like that steps in with someone as consistent as Shakur, every small flaw gets amplified under bright lights. What really got me though is Eddie leaning into the size and weight conversation without making excuses. He's basically saying, yeah, Teofimo is bigger, stronger, and more physically settled at 140. And yeah, that matters. But here's the catch. Guys like Shakur don't usually lose because of one advantage. They lose when multiple advantages stack against them at once, and Eddie's not even saying that's happening yet. He's saying this is the danger zone. That's why this fight feels fiddly, awkward, tense, and uncomfortable, not explosive for the sake of it.
But someone like Shakur is only going to get beat when he moves up and loses his advantage necessarily against a much bigger and stronger guy.
Yeah. But do you
I
think
that's a fiddly fight, don't you? I mean, I don't expect it to be this firefight.
Yeah.
I think Teofimo's very awkward and Shakur's very smart, and I don't know. I think I don't know how good the fight will be, but I think Shakur is again, like pound for pound, IQ-wise, I think he's even up there with a Terence and those kind of guys, you know.
Teofimo is awkward in movement and rhythm. Shakur is awkward in the way he removes your options without throwing a ton. That combination doesn't scream chaos, it screams mental stress. I love how Eddie casually throws in that this probably isn't a firefight because that's the quiet warning to fans expecting non-stop action. This is going to be about decisions, adjustments, and who blinks first. And when a promoter who's seen every style under the sun says, "I don't know," that's not weakness, that's honesty. This isn't a fight you solve on paper. This is one of those nights where the wrong version of yourself shows up and suddenly the whole narrative flips. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, this isn't just a fight announcement, and it's a clash of philosophies. You've got Teofimo Lopez sharpening explosiveness with discipline, learning composure inside chaos, and you've got Shakur Stevenson betting on control, precision, and mental clarity when the pressure is loudest. Different roads, same destination, greatness.
I think the difference with Boots is he's got the defensive mastercraft, and he also has the aggressive power to turn your lights out, and I think that's quite different. Do you know what I mean? Like Shakur, I say defensive. I think that's a bit harsh on Shakur, but he's not a huge puncher, but defensively and skill-wise, he's right up there.
He's a real technical fighter.
Oh, phenomenal.
That's why this matchup feels heavy before a punch is even thrown, because somebody's belief system is getting tested in real time. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you see this playing out? Do you trust moments over margins or control over chaos? Drop your take in the comments and let's really debate it like boxing fans who actually watch the rounds, not just the highlights. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. We'll see you in the next one.